Luisiana para Cristo! Well, over in Jeff Davis Parish, those in the district attorney's office saying that they're breaking the glass ceiling. Now, you may already know that newly elected DA Lauren Heinen is the first ever woman to take the seat, but she's not alone. Taylor Toole is joining us live in studio this morning with more. So, Taylor, what else did you find out?
Good morning, Katie. That's right. Lots of firsts over at the Jeff Davis DA's office. Heinen tells me she isn't the only one breaking the glass ceiling. She says her assistant district attorney is the first African American to have a seat in the DA's office in the entire history of Jeff Davis Parish. And her name is Tori Thibodeau. You can see her on your screen now. As not only the first black ADA, but a black woman, she says she does feel some pressure being in the position, but knowing that she has an opportunity that so many before her didn't have, well, that makes all the difference, especially when it comes to representation in the parish, as black residents are the largest minority over in Jeff Davis, accounting for about 20% of the parish as per census records.
I hope that it gives trust, right? When you walk into a room and you see people who don't look like you about to determine your fate, it's scary. So hopefully you see a face and you could trust the system more, whether you're a victim, a female victim or a male victim, African American, you could know there's somebody in there who wants to represent me and my voice is going to be heard.
Now, both Heinen and Thibodeau say this is a long time coming, and being new in office, they hope to honor those who paved the way before them by bringing new perspectives and insight into their position. Live in studio, Taylor Toole, KATC TV3.
All right. Thanks for that, Taylor. Well, the U.S. Army is celebrating its 247th birthday. A commemoration was held in Lafayette, which included a cake cutting and a ceremony.
Today we are celebrating the 247th birthday of the United States Army and its initial commemoration and institution that Congress installed us as the Army of the United States. And it's just really powerful to know how many people we've been able to help, how many people we've been able to serve, and to know that we are so welcome here in the Lafayette Parish.
From the KATC Weather Lab, here's Dave's forecast.
75 our temperature with mostly sunny skies, pretty hazy out there. Setting moon out to off toward the west, probably about ready to go below the horizon pretty soon here. Visibility is running at about 7 miles. Mid 70s here across our inland parishes, from 75 at Fort Polk down to 71 in Oakdale, and in between 73 the current temperature in Ville Platte. Well, as we look at the big picture, the upper level pattern showing more of a trough out in the west. We had some rain and some cooler temperatures here across the Pacific Northwest, and that's now moving into the upper part of the Midwest and the Great Lakes. But a big ridge of high pressure aloft has pretty much been dominant across much of the southern two-thirds of the U.S., and that's where the heat and the humidity has been coming from. But there's a weak disturbance kind of moving westward here out of Alabama into eastern parts of Mississippi, and that's going to bring a better chance for some scattered showers and thunderstorms for our friends just to our east. And then tomorrow it looks like we'll have a better chance to see a cooling shower or thunderstorm during the afternoon. Today it'll primarily be from the areas around the North Shore down to New Orleans, westward to about the Atchafalaya Basin. Maybe our eastern parishes might pick up an isolated shower this afternoon. It won't last too long though. Kind of like what we saw yesterday. We had one or two pop up over Lafayette, St. Martin, and St. Landry parishes yesterday afternoon. Tomorrow I think the coverage is going to be a little bit better, especially with that daytime heating during the afternoon. So scattered showers and thunderstorms will drift in from the west and continue to push westward. The trough itself will start to roll into Texas as we get into Friday, so we'll still see a chance for a few widely scattered showers and thunderstorms on Friday. But then after that, high pressure is going to rebuild not just in the upper levels but also at the surface, and that'll prevent most of the showers and thunderstorms. And those temperatures are going to be back into the mid-90s. 94 today, 94 tomorrow, with a little better chance for an afternoon storm. So perhaps the afternoon will feel a little bit better after we get some of those rains. Rain chances will start to drop off though as we roll through the weekend. Sunday, we're looking at mostly sunny skies and a high temperature at 97 degrees. Right now, 76 the current temperature. Your time, 6:35.
All right, thanks, Dave. Well, in Lafayette, an arrest in that Friday shooting on Gilman Street. Jason Provo is facing a second-degree murder charge in connection with the shooting death of Mary Falk. Provost was arrested by New Iberia police. And man is recovering after being shot in Opelousas. Police say the man drove himself to the hospital after the shots were fired at his car, which was hit multiple times. This shooting is still under investigation. Anyone with information on this shooting should contact the Opelousas Police Department. And now to Iberia Parish, where a Jeanerette man is under arrest in connection to a major fire earlier this month. That fire damaging 4 businesses on Main Street. Roger Hogan is facing simple arson and trespassing charges. According to the State Fire Marshal, Hogan is homeless and was known to seek shelter in the area. Well, your time now is 6:35. Still to come on GMA, we are going to check in with your state and national news.
And a hazy one out there this morning with temperatures starting out in the 70s. We're heading for the mid-90s again this afternoon. We'll also talk about the tropics coming up next.
So I'm from Cecilia, Louisiana. Good morning, ACADIANA.
Well, a Caddo Parish juvenile has escaped from the ACADIANA Center for the Youth while being brought to Bunkie General Hospital. As of now, he remains at large. And a Baton Rouge man will serve more than 2 years in prison for defrauding an elderly veteran of more than $50,000. Sean Phillips was found guilty of wire fraud. Now, he befriended the veteran and repeatedly had him wire him money, claiming that he was waiting on a large inheritance and needed that money to get by in the meantime. Phillips will also have to pay back the money that he took. The district attorney handling the state-level prosecution of troopers in the Ronald Green case is set to meet with the FBI today. Union Parish DA John Belton says that his office is getting files related to the case. Although a federal investigation into Green's death has been underway for months, Belton's office only recently received permission from the FBI to conduct the state-level investigation. And a critical moment for the U.S. economy, President Biden making new effort to calm Americans' fears while also trying to defend his record. CNN's Caitlin Collins reports.
Inflation, it's sapping the strength of a lot of families.
President Biden acknowledging the pain of higher prices in Philadelphia today.
Gas is up and food is up, which we're going to get down come hell or high water.
Biden promising to bring prices down as the worst inflation in 40 years consumes his agenda and threatens his party's majority on Capitol Hill.
Jobs are back, but prices are still too high. COVID is down, but gas prices are up.
As part of a new messaging push, the president also ramping up his criticism of Republicans.
Republicans in Congress are doing everything they can to stop my plans to bring down costs on ordinary families. That's why my plan is not finished and why the results aren't finished either.
Biden's speech coming the day before the Federal Reserve is expected to announce it's raising interest rates 0.75 of a percentage point to combat inflation, which would be the biggest hike since 1994. With gas prices on the rise, the White House formally announced that Biden will visit oil-rich Saudi Arabia next month after vowing to make it a pariah state for the grisly assassination of journalist Jamal Khashoggi.
After the cold-blooded murder of a journalist, giving the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia the benefit of the doubt. I think it was a flat-out murder, and I think we should have nailed it as that. We were going to, in fact, make them pay the price and make them, in fact, the pariah that they are.
Biden and his aides insist the upcoming visit has more to do with national security than oil prices, as high-ranking Democrats urge the president to call off his meeting with the Saudi Crown Prince.
I know he has a tough job dealing with gasoline prices, so I have mixed feelings on this, and if the president called me, I'd say, Mr. President, you can't trust these people. Their standards are not our standards, their values are not ours.
A resolution to fund the removal of 2 Confederate statues in Florida failed on Tuesday. That resolution calling for $500,000 to be added to the city of Jacksonville's budget to remove Confederate statues in 2 parks. Protesters gathering outside of Jacksonville City Hall ahead of the vote. Now, it did fail in a vote of 13-6. The bill's sponsor arguing the statues don't belong in public spaces or public parks, saying that if the bill didn't pass, the monuments would probably not be removed before the end of the year. And a water main break in Odessa, Texas has shut down the entire water system in the area. With a boil water advisory notice in effect, officials are also giving out bottled water to residents at 3 distribution sites throughout the city. The water issue is impacting nearly all of Ector County, and the mayor of Odessa says that he's declaring an emergency with the state, which opens up other resources to the city. In today's hearings in the investigation of the deadly January 6th attack have been postponed. The committee will hold its next public hearing Thursday as members continue to provide evidence supporting their argument that former President Donald Trump pressured officials to overturn the election. ABC's Jay O'Brien has more on what's next.
The House Select Committee investigating the January 6th insurrection, postponing Wednesday's hearing and the planned testimony of Donald Trump's former acting Attorney General Jeffrey Rosen, who took office after Bill Barr's resignation, and the committee claims was the target of repeated requests from Trump to investigate baseless election fraud claims. A committee spokesperson saying the proceedings were postponed due to scheduling issues. The next hearing will take place Thursday. The committee promising its presentation will zero in on Trump's alleged attempts to pressure Vice President Mike Pence to block the certification of Joe Biden's Electoral College victory. Pence refused to do so.
Well, January 6th was a tragic day, and we were able to complete our duty under the Constitution of the United States of America.
In Monday's hearing, the committee playing testimony from 10 top Trump advisors who told the then president his claims of voter fraud were baseless. But Trump rejected their views, choosing to embrace election conspiracy theories pushed by attorneys Sidney Powell and Rudy Giuliani.
What they were proposing, I thought was nuts.
I thought, boy, if he really believes this stuff, he has, lost contact with he's become detached from reality.
There's some controversy in the committee after Chair Benny Thompson said the panel won't refer anyone to the Justice Department for criminal prosecution, but a spokesperson and other members later leaving the door open for potential criminal referrals.
When our hearings are complete, we'll have a conversation on next steps.
Even without a referral from the committee, the Department of Justice can still bring criminal charges tied to January 6th. Attorney General Merrick Garland says he and his prosecutors have been watching these hearings closely. Jay O'Brien, ABC News, Washington.
From the KATC Weather Lab, here's Dave's forecast.
74 with sunshine in New Iberia. That heat index not much of an issue right now, but give it a couple hours and that heat index is going to be getting closer to 90 by mid-morning and close to 100 by the time we reach lunchtime. Pressure steady, visibility is fine. No wind out there though, so it is a very still and sticky Wednesday morning in Acadiana. A warm 83 in Cameron, 81 in Grand Chenier, 81 at Sipmore Point, 79 Pecan Island. Along the 14 corridor, we're running at 76 in Kaplan and 74 in Abbeville. Then as we run you down US 90, 77 degrees over in Franklin, 76 in Morgan City. As you walk out the door, a lot of sunshine, hazy sunshine too. Temperatures are quickly going to be climbing and we're going to be pushing 90 as we reach the lunchtime period. Now, as far as our skies, they're going to be kind of hazy with a mix of sun and clouds during the afternoon. Lots of sunshine for the early part of the day. There's a trough that's over here in Alabama that's going to be moving westward, and that's going to bring a little more cloud cover and a better chance for some rain coming up on Thursday. Also, those milky white hazy skies, a lot of that due to the Saharan dust. We've got fairly high levels of it over the western part of the Gulf of Mexico, and that also includes the Louisiana and the Texas Gulf Coast. Over the weekend, we might get a little bit of a break, so the skies might look a little bluer, and on top of that, we may get a few scattered showers and thunderstorms to go along with it, but then the haze is going to make a return as we head into next week. So let's talk a little bit about tropical weather. Nothing to worry about at this hour, nothing close to home. The Gulf of Mexico is fine. The Atlantic is looking good too. But down here in the Caribbean, western part of the Caribbean, along the Central American coast, there's a bit of a trough. The western Caribbean here, and then also the Bay of Campeche and over toward the Bahamas. Those are really the hot spots when it comes to development during the early part of the hurricane season, during the month of June. So this is usually the place that we're going to watch for some development. And the National Hurricane Center thinks there's about a 40% chance that this will become a tropical system over the next 5 days. The good news is, though, at least for us, that this is going to be drifting toward the west. There's a ridge of high pressure, that heat dome that's been keeping things rather hot, should block anything from coming in our direction, but there will be some heavy rains here over Central America going through El Salvador, Guatemala, back into southern portions of Mexico as we head into the weekend. 94 your high. We'll see a mix of sun and clouds. That heat index today could be as high as 104. And let's jump ahead toward the weekend. Friday, still a couple of afternoon storms, but it looks like things will start to calm down. But temperatures are going to be very hot through the weekend. In fact, we may be pushing the upper 90s there on Sunday with a heat index up around 107. Right now, 76 degrees, your current temperature, your time 6:48.
An Illinois 10-year-old helping his older sister who has stage 4 cancer complete her bucket wish. And he's doing it with 1 cup of lemonade at a time. Paige Blanzy reports.
Lemonade, 50 cents.
Most kids spend their summers saving up money from their lemonade stand to buy a new toy, but not Peyton Wilkie.
It's for my sister. We're just doing all we can for her.
His 22-year-old sister has stage 4 stomach cancer. All the money he earns is going toward his sister's bucket list, a family trip to New York.
We know our time is becoming limited.
All her treatments have stopped. Now they're trying to live each day to the fullest and complete items on her bucket list.
One of her wishes right now is she wants to make a trip to, it's upstate New York. We used to go like every summer.
10-year-old Peyton has made it his mission to help his family afford a week-long road trip.
We don't get that much money, so I am helping out my family so they can have money.
Although this cup is only 50 cents, Wilkie's already made progress toward his goal.
We're at about $220 in a week.
His mother, Laura Wilkie, estimates the trip will cost $3,000, but that isn't intimidating Peyton.
He's always been big sister's little buddy. I know it's a lot for him to kind of understand everything that's going on, but if he can help, he wants to help.
Peyton says he's been overwhelmed by support from the community.
It makes me happy that people care about other people in the world.
And after he's raised enough for the trip, he plans to spend some money on himself.
Well, in St. Landry Parish, a new dance and musical project is being created to discuss the arson fires that destroyed 3 black churches back in 2019. Now, the Performing Arts Society of ACADIANA is working to show the impacts that those fires had on the community. And Tuesday, there was a public meeting in place to get input on the project.
So this is a very important time for us, for our artistic team and administrative team to come together and really find out how do we want to make something that's happened in this community that's very specific, but also make it universal.
It's time for sports with KATC's Megan Glover.
Around the league, 17 teams began minicamp on yesterday, the New Orleans Saints being in that number. But this year, things are slightly different under the reins of new head coach Dennis Allen. Now, before the Saints go marching into the regular season, this period is all about adjustments. With notable moves in the offseason, the Saints are also looking forward to returning key players from injury like Michael Thomas, Will Lutz, and Jameis Winston. A good start was 100% attendance from the team on day 1 as they look to build on a new foundation.
I mean, I think this is a time to really work on your fundamentals and your technique. You're really kind of getting a skeleton look at scheme, you know, what we're going to do offensively, defensively, and in the kicking game. And really, it's just about getting your team together and beginning to develop that team chemistry and that team bonding.
The Houston Astros silent no more last night, quiet for 7 frames until a big 4-run inning, including a 2-run homer from Kyle Tucker. That would put them over the Texas Rangers in Game 2. The final score 4-3. The Astros looking forward to a rubber match today at 1 o'clock. And also starting today, sports director Seth Lewis and myself will present our Raging Awards, where we talk about the best of the best in the culture. Now, the 5 categories include Freshman of the Year, Newcomer of the Year, Most Improved Player, Best Team, and of course the GOAT, the MVP Award. Stay tuned in here for the rest of the week at 6 and 10 as we discuss. And that's a look at sports. Enjoy your day.
Good morning, Scott. Good morning, Acadiana.
From the KATC Weather Lab, here's Dave's forecast.
Skies across Acadiana are mostly sunny. It's hazy out there. 75 the current temperature with the relative humidity at 96%. Those dew points are going to stay high. The temperatures reaching the 90s later today. Heat index values are going to be getting closer to 105 as we get into the afternoon. Now here's the way it looks in the skies. Everything's kind of hazy right now, but we don't have any showers or thunderstorms. There is a trough out here to the east that's going to kind of work its way west over the next couple of days. Today it'll bring a better chance for showers and thunderstorms over the North Shore areas and then over toward New Orleans. And then tomorrow it looks like we will see a better chance for some showers and thunderstorms. And then on Friday that will start to drift off toward the west and the ridge will rebuild. And then we're going to get back into the weekend with some hotter temperatures. So today just a couple of isolated showers, better chance for showers and thunderstorms, especially tomorrow afternoon with the daytime heating, all that drifting off toward the west. And then on Friday things looking a little bit better. Although without the rainfall in the afternoon, those temperatures are once again going to be skyrocketing back into the mid-90s. 94 your high today with a mix of sun and clouds. We'll see that heat index topping out at around 104, and you're not going to get much help from the breeze today. Only 5 to 10 miles per hour if you're lucky out of the southwest. Meanwhile, tomorrow a 40% chance for showers and thunderstorms, so that'll help you cool down in the afternoon. 95 on Friday, and then, yep, getting even hotter over the weekend. I think we'll top at 97 degrees there on Sunday with just a 20% chance for an isolated shower, but that heat index probably about 106, 107, maybe close to heat advisory criteria of 108.